Richard Snider. The issue of freedom of speech and political signs, as this lady pointed out, the restriction would be in what the sign can say. That's the freedom of speech. You can say anything, whether you're opposed to the war or you support a particular candidate. That deals with the issue of freedom of speech. And I don't think that the zoning regulation restricts what you can say on a sign. The other issue that it's really up to the town to decide is if you eliminate any type of regulation at all because you want to protect the rights of one person to do whatever they want, it means that in any district in this town, the historic district, anywhere during a political season, the person next door to you can have a neon sign 20 feet by 25 feet with flashing lights through the entire night, and you can't do anything about it. And the question is, it's not just all about me. It's all about us. And what does the town want? What is it? And if you say, okay, you can say anything you want on a political sign. However, we want to, as a town, restrict the amount and the numbers of signs that you can put down there. Because otherwise, either eliminate it completely, because most of the case law deals with what the sign says. The Supreme Court cases dealt with restriction on what the sign said. There are cases that allow towns and gated communities to restrict the number of signs and the size of the sign. But again, it's up to the people of Woodbury. If you could eliminate that, you open the Pandora's box, and anybody living next door to you can do whatever they want for any period of time. The other issue that I have with these regulations is there's no teeth to them. Because Mr. Murphy, at one of your meetings, said the whole thing is moot, even if you file a complaint against anybody. The problem is that there's nothing in here that says within a week after you see this violation, you serve that person with a notice. If he doesn't remove the sign, he's fined. It isn't. You have a notice, there is no zoning officer, you have a meeting of the board, and by that time, the political season is over. So I guess the bottom line is eliminate it completely, allow any signs anywhere in this town of any size, and you can't complain if you say this is the way to do it. You say, okay, the majority of us want it this way. So if your neighbor decides that they want to put up that sign, you have no way of complaining or stopping it. And I think it's a question of like Mr. Murphy talked about what is the right size. There was a Supreme Court judge that I can't define pornography, but I know it when I see it. And I think there comes to some point where you say, there's a limit to the size of a sign that I want next door to me. You want to put up 6 small signs? Fine. I don't want a sign that's 7 feet, or the sign that Mr. Aris has and has kept up beyond a political season should come down. He has the right to express himself in letters or anything else. But as this lady said here, we have a town. We're trying to protect it, preserve it, have people come here, see what the town has to offer. Otherwise, why bother? You want to build businesses? I mean, again, it's what is the image that you're trying to protect for Woodbury? And I think that's the bottom line. It has nothing to do with, what the sign says. Say whatever you want. But there has to be some sort of reasonable limit on the size of what you can do. And have it from a period. 30 days before an election to a week afterwards, and then the signs come down. Thank you.
But I know that Attorney Stevenson wants to make a remark, but I'm going to hold you to new information rather than responding to another point of view, which Mr. Snyder is entitled to.
I just want to make a clarification again on the difference between the federal Constitution and the state Constitution. Whereas the Supreme Court cases are directed, when we're talking about time, place, and manner, and restricting of, size, etc., those cases are related under the federal Constitution. Again, the state Constitution has stronger language in it.
Thank you.
And I really like to point that out.
I think Art, and then Susan, was it?
Yes.
Art, Susan, and then Tom.
Once again, what is the Constitution? Why was it written? To protect the rights of the individual from domination by the government. My private property is my castle. I don't care what my neighbor does next door. I don't care if the other people on the other side have big signs. If I prefer to have a big sign, that is my right. That is my right. Now, this lady is one of the complainants that started this last November.
Art, please.
All I'm saying is,
comment to the changes proposed to
well,
the regulation.
she's laughing at me, so
No,
I'm...
but then, you know, they laugh at me all the time, Art, at you.
Yeah, right. All right, what I'm trying to say is this. Private property. It's a basic protection by the Constitution.
Understood. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you.
Can we go Susan and then Tom?
Yes,
And then-
Susan
Sure.
Cheatham, just quickly, what are your working definitions for a political sign and political speech? What are you
I'm
working
going
with?
to refer you to the book. It's a good question because in the end, the zoning enforcement staff have got to make a decision as to which category any particular sign fits in. Is it a real estate sign, a political sign? Is it, a commercial sign? Is it advertising? What is it? So that again, as we stated in the general context earlier, I don't know what pornography is, but I know when I see it, and I think there's a judgment call on what constitutes a political sign. I'll give you an example. If there was a big debate about cell towers, and somebody put a sign up that said, "Say no." Is that a political sign? Say no? In context, yes it is. Out of context, no it isn't. So, it's going to be a judgment call at the time as to which category most suitably applies to any particular sign with respect to getting a permit. Now, political signs don't need a permit. That's a very big difference with political signs. Okay, they're not regulated in that sense. And there's no sunset, there's no time period in the regulations for that. Does that answer your question, Susan?
Does it have to do with an upcoming vote or with
No.
simply a statement?
This is a situation where the content of the sign is not regulated, but the content will determine what category of sign it is. Does that make sense? Thank you.